That's the thing I think that's a little bit behind all this is like some of these numbers don't really look right to a lot of people, but that's to the ones that might not know like what the goal is.
It tells me that they don't have a goal yet.
They probably don't have a goal. Hey, I want to make 50% net on my first purchase. Well, that's hard to do in a lot of cases, especially in online marketing. We're great. Like we're at a 50% gross. And I'm like, you're at a 50% gross, like meaning your cost of goods sold is 50% of your sale price? Yeah. It's like, you're going to have very little. And I asked him, what's his net? He didn't know what his net was. So you need to know these numbers and you need to know what your end goal is.
Insane.
I just want to note like the obvious thing here for anybody who's new on this channel, like you're toggling between Ads Manager and the source of truth, which is on the back end of Shopify. And for you, you're like, of course I am. But I think for anybody who's watching this for the first time, this is really, really important. Like you have to look at the obviously inside the Ads Manager, and then if you're single channel, going right to your source of truth, understanding that. I mean, we tend to use the Tier 11 data suite for a lot of things that way we can look at each channel and how it's actually behaving accordingly. The point is you're actually checking against real data as opposed to what you really see inside the Ads Manager. And that's very different. So
we're comparing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you're double checking. You're not taking for granted, just because Meta Ads Manager says this one thing, I'm going to take that as gospel. You're getting signals for that for the ads. Absolutely. You can use a lot of like our creative team, like uses the Motion app for that in a lot of cases, because it's easier for them as opposed to going into Ads Manager. But you're getting signals on your winning creative in Ads Manager, but then you're factoring that and figuring out how the business is moving in the source of truth. And I think it's an obvious statement for you, but I think it's important for the audience to remember that.
It really is, especially because I said that worked once. Can we do it again kind of thing? Yeah. And we did two different ones. This one was a much larger spend now this time. We did it on a low spend. Let's see it on a larger spend. So this one is it's a really cool case study because, again, we do the same thing. Right. This one, we said, hey, we're going to take our main campaign that's been spending, a six-figure sum of money on it for the last 30 days. And so we can see here basically, 30 days, this campaign spent 134 grand and it's only been running since the 18th. This thing spends, 10 grand a day kind of thing. So a big campaign, 10K per day. We decided to, during this time period, we're going to say that we're going to test something different. We're going to start a brand new campaign with only videos, and we're going to run it during this time period. So it went from basically 10 grand a day down to $800, back up to 10 grand a day. And we wanted to see what happened. So
most clients would freak out. You're like, it's your business. It's your business. So anyway, that's the beauty of this. Like you can do this. Like I don't think we'd be able to do that with a Tier 11 client unless we're really, really risk averse. But anyway, go ahead.
When I tell you the reasons why, you're going to say like, okay, you know what? I would have done the same thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
what's cool about this is, well, let me share this with you, and you tell me if you think I'm correct. So we had this one campaign. We decided to spend $28,000 on what we call the SID testing, which is the same product and the same audience. Only this ad here has basically all videos. Yes. So just all video ads.
For somebody who's never seen this before, this is one that we use a lot. This is John's business with a partner. Yeah, we know these guys really, really well. Obviously, I've known the owner for years and years. Anyway, pet supplements, great space, rabid niche, obviously. We use this as an example quite frequently. Go ahead.
Yep. So we said, hey, what if we're going to be doing the SID testing campaign, and let's put like a sizable amount of ad spend to it, and let's see how this works. Let's test the videos. So what's nice about this is we only spent 4% difference over the course of turn off, turn on, then turn off, and then turn on. So basically turn off the old campaign, turn on the new one, then turn off the new campaign, then turn back on the old one. Only 4% change in difference in spend. The reason why I'm okay doing this is because I know that the campaign actually doesn't mean anything. The pixel users who I have already acquired, that is the static. That is what you can pause a campaign, nothing will happen. Like that's what we found out is that ad spend a campaign in CPA. Well, you want to know, you'll actually will never use it or lose it. If your spending is the same, remember spend is the most important thing in a channel. If the spend's the same, you're just kind of telling them slightly different messaging with slightly different ads to the same audience that you've been engaging with already. Got it. And so we said, okay, during this time period of 30th through the 2nd, we did two different things. Here's the before 26 to 29. Here's the after 30th through the 2nd. This is a Looker Studio where I get to see everything as a whole. You see all my spend and gross revenue, new customers. You won't see channels here. You're not going to see Instagram versus Facebook versus we do X. We also do direct mail. We have Amazon. We have Meta, obviously, as a combined. We have Google. You're not going to see any of that, though, because none of that matters. It's the total top line. So as we said, okay, this is the before. And I wanted to see two main things because I knew we were going to be spending differently weekend over weekend. The spend had a factor, but I wanted to see two things, NCAC, and I wanted to see conversion rate. Because if we're spending more, I'm okay with NCAC going up, but I'm not okay with conversion rate going down. But if we're spending more, I'm okay with NCAC going up if conversion rate's going up. That means that we're just slightly too aggressive. We're just slightly overspent. Slow down. Okay. So we said, okay, let's see what happens. We had a 403 NCAC and a 1.09. And then we went through the time period and our 403 went up to a 427. Yes, it did go up by a point basis of $24, but our conversion rate went up by 50%. So 1.0 to 1.5. Now we're like, but then why did the CAC go haywire? Like that seems weird. Yeah. We started to look through a little bit of a time period and said, oh, we're not too bright.
Getting warm traffic.
No, we ended up running it. This is the time period here, the 23rd, technically through the 26th that we should be comparing, which is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday compared to a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Mondays kind of suck. And we ended up just pushing through with 15K more in spend during that time period. So we overspent for the weekend test. We underspent from week compared to week. So day one compared to day two, spend was the same. We're normally, though, day one is 100% and spend day two is 50%. We ended up just spending more during that time period. But that actually gave us a cool factoid. Our spend, if we're looking at it during this time period here, let's just do the same apples to apples comparison, which is 23 through the 26th, because that is the 23 through the 26th would be the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So if we look at the 23 to the 26th, we had 42 and then went up to 57. So weekend over weekend, we went from 42 grand up to 57. But still, what I thought was really interesting is we went from a 130 to a 151. So what this told us is we can scale up by 30% in ad spend and get a better conversion rate with a brand new campaign only running a day. So is learning a really thing? Not really. Is ads does campaign and ad set? No, I just hacked off a 10 grand per day campaign and improved my metrics and then turned the fucker back on 3 days later. Like campaigns don't mean anything. This is the group of people we're talking to. Good. Stop that messaging. Start this messaging. This group of people likes that better. How? Well, your conversion rate went up and your NCAC technically would have dropped if you would have just kept the same spend. Great. Can I conclude that this group of messaging is better than that group of messaging? That's what it tells me.
Did your new messaging, playing devil's advocate here, because I know these aren't product pages, these aren't PDP pages, these are landing pages and or, sort of testimonial pages, advertorial type pages. Like, is the messaging in the new ads consistent with the advertorial once they click?
Yeah, it's the same exact thing.
Okay.
The only difference that we have in here is we have a higher mix of videos. Because I said we need 2/3 video because our videos are what is going to be getting the highest amount of engagement. The Meta Andromeda uses hook rate first in order to push spend. So he said, okay, I have like a whole bunch of new videos. I'm like, what if we just dump spend into that new channel and we just rapidly change you're used to seeing these ads to stop everything. Now you're seeing these ads. We measure top line. Because I don't care what the in-platform metrics go haywire off of. Oh, thank you. Actually, that is a really, really, really important metric. I see that I have a low internet symbol, so I'm just going to pause camera for a minute. Let me know. Yeah. I think if you pause camera, my screen might be better. If it's fuzzy for everyone, I can't tell. It's fuzzy for me.
No, it's good. On my end, it's perfectly clear.
Okay, got it. So here's what I thought was interesting is this is so indicative of the sticky pixel, and I love it so much. If you look at CPA.
Can you explain the sticky pixel just quickly for
someone? Sure.
Yeah.
The sticky pixel means that if Meta has paid money to gain an interested user, they are going to follow that user around until they buy, die, or unsubscribe, basically, which means Meta is just not going to let them go. I mean, that's why you see ads so often. You're like, God, I don't want to see these ads anymore. And then you're clicking not interested. I've seen these ads too many times. Like everyone does that passive aggressive thing to Instagram whenever they're on that and they see too many ads. Like everyone does it. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, I know. But that's the thing is like it will hunt them down. So it's not that campaign. The campaign isn't hunting them down. It's the conversion algorithm. Essentially, it's Andromeda. It's Gem that is hunting them down. So we leverage that rather than being tricked by it.
The key
So
is
what I
having
knew is
slightly different messaging all along the way. We use the example of like the facial cream for like wrinkles for guys my age. They're using the same damn message every single time. I don't know if it was you or maybe I was talking to Lauren about this, but it was like, you know, they're using the same message and they've been hunting me down for 3 months and I still haven't bought.
Right.
You know, so I need some other hook. It's like a guy with a Lamborghini with some hot blonde. I'm like, you know what? That's not really me. I love man, 30
You're
years
you know
ago.
what? I'm in. Yeah. I can't wait to get to like.
I have a hot brunette, by the way, my wife.
There you go.
Anyway, yeah, not blonde. Yeah.
Like I can't wait to get to the age where I'm just tricked by like easy marketing where it's like free candy. I'm like, I'm in.
I know. So silly.
Like, no, Grandpa, you don't actually get a free Xbox. I'm like, come on.
No, when you don't? What do you mean? I can't get an iPad for $7? Right. Back in the penny auction days, that was one of my greatest offers right there. Anyway, keep going.
Oh, it's good stuff. Yep. All right, cool. Let's keep going. So here's what's funny. You actually start to see how the sticky pixel works if you start to move it on a day-by-day average and check out the results in the platform. So what I mean by this is if we're looking at this metric here, we have 38% down in spend on our main campaign as we start to launch our new campaign on this 3-day average.
Which is the new campaign? Sorry.
This one here, SID testing.
Oh, SID testing. Got it. Okay.
Yep. So what we're seeing is we're saying, okay, we're going to start pulling out ad spend on our main, and we're going to start pushing an ad spend on this one here. Now we're going to pull as much as we can as possibly as fast as we can. Okay. So we pulled 38%. This is like the first day of the change. And the CPA in this campaign went down because this is existing users that it's not letting go. It doesn't need to spend the 11 G's on them. It'll just buy them for cheaper because it's not going to let them go.
Sure.
Then this campaign says, okay, I need to start showing everybody this ad first. And it says, well, the people that you were showing it to that are already buying, they were $297, but the new people, they're not buying as much as the old people. We're like, yeah, I know that the new people are not going to buy as fast as the old people. The old people are already being over here. Like we get that. Like that's maybe the last thing that they're seeing because it still has a lot of ad spend on it. These things are now spending equally. So this one, my business partner read it as, well, this one was getting better and this one started to get worse. But we're actually just misinterpreting that as the shift in the narrative. So let's move at 1 day average into the next day. So now this thing has 100% more spend. It's going from 3 to 28. And this is going from 34 down to 9. Now, what it looks like from here is, oh no, everybody, we've made a terrible mistake. The mistake we did is we pulled out of a campaign. We pulled out money of a campaign, $73. But look, it was starting to go so much better right at the point where we let it go. Dang, it was going from $577. It would have been $375 if we didn't spend all of our money over here and go from $512 up to $778. We made a bad decision.
Okay.
It's the same thing. These are getting cheaper. These are getting more expensive, but the delta between them is the same. And you're spending the same amount of money. Nothing's happening. You're just robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
So the ad spend is going from here to here, but the audience in this campaign down here hasn't been built yet. And the audience up here has not been let go of yet. We're simply just watching the natural transition of the sticky pixels starting to change users and grab more from column B that we just launched and less from column A. But the money that it's spending on in column A means that it doesn't need the 25 grand to go prospecting for new people anymore. It just needed the 9 grand left over to convert the less remaining people, the 25 people. Yeah, it's 59% less, but we did spend 73% less because this is like, okay, why don't we just stop spending? Well, let me just go find, let me finish my work and I'll get out of here, is what the person on the 2 weeks notice just said.
Right.
Let me finish my work and I'll get out of here. It's just going to look really good because these people are already going to buy anyway.
Right.
Then this campaign started to scale up. But this thing just looked like we took a $500 average, went to $775. So this does not seem like a great idea in terms of in-platform CPA. Now let's move one more.
I noticed it's paused, so something.
Oh, we only tested for 3 days. That's what we did as a purpose. Yeah, we actually didn't even pause this one. We just drastically reduced ad spend. We basically just went like, yeah, because spending $3 grand a day, we don't want to, if this thing was leading the charge, we don't want the other one to kind of start to take all the credit and then this thing to be killed off. So we just basically did like a little dip test.
Right.
But all this really told us though, is that once everything's said and done, now this is basically the after compared to the previous 3 days, we're still spending the same amount. Now we have 18% less. These people have basically flatlined because we taken the last 2 days to build this audience. And now we're here. So it does look like, okay, this is yesterday or not yesterday. This is like as of the 3rd. If we look at just like the last 3 days, it looks like we're kind of right back to having $400 and $500 CPAs on the main campaign, which was kind of like where we're at if we compare this before, $400 and $500. We've always bounced between 4 and 6. So nothing actually happened in the system, which is great. That's not the point though. It's the CPA went haywire and then went right back to normal. So man, we went from 7s and 6 down. We were down to the 3s for a little bit, and this one's now up to 1,000. What happened? Well, we just shifted back. So we started to increase our ad spend back to the old campaign as we started to reduce the ad spend from the new campaign. And this campaign said, okay, the people that I was using this money on to build, I'm just said, sayonara, I abandoned them and now they're not buying anymore. Yeah, that makes sense. I basically said, hey, Ralph, I'm John. I have something interesting to tell you. And you said, yeah, what is it? And I said, go F yourself. You're like, all right, I'm out of here. Like I stopped talking to you,
Right.
But then this one said, hey, Ralph, remember me? I'm your ex. I still love you. And you're like, all right, I'm going back. So it's a love story. So watch this. What happened to the top line during the test? That's that 1.51 conversion rate. In the test, 1.3. But if we look inside of Meta, it says that it actually went $400 CPA higher than average. We were reaching into the 700s. That's bad. In reality, it was getting a better conversion rate. We were just slightly overspent for the day. But all that is to say is, yes, you could take a campaign you spend 150 grand on, pause it for 2 days if you'd like, test another campaign, and then turn the other campaign back on. The sticky pixel, all it did was say, here's your 100 people. Day 1, we told them this. Day 2, we told them that. Day 3, we went back to telling them this. That's the only thing that happened.
Yeah.
But when we told them that versus this did better conversion rate. So this is the message we're moving forward with.
Yeah, makes sense. It's a crazy test,
right?
I mean, I think people that are really into your type of testing, like this is like they're gonna have to probably watch this a couple of times. I mean, I think there's a lot here. The overall NCAC go down? I didn't quite catch that. Like you're looking at the source of truth inside Looker Studio here, which is obviously pulling from the truth, but like what are we looking at for overall NCAC?
So the NCAC technically went up, and that was where we said, why did the NCAC go up? And that was because we said, we went from 42 up to 57. So the NCAC did go up, but it was only $20 higher than where it was the day before. So it was okay. And the top line, it's high. It's higher than what we want. But then we found out it's only higher than we want because we should only spend 40 grand, not 57 on this brand new test. But we did get a better conversion rate.
Question for you on this, and this was something that where I was answering a bunch of comments a few days ago, and this question kept coming up when we used this example with this particular brand is how can you afford to pay $300, $250 to acquire a new customer? Because I'm looking here, your NCAC is obviously high, but your CAC is, I know, within range from profitability, maybe not profitability, but break even, a different sort of goal for the company here. Obviously, you guys are going for potential, financial, some kind of acquisition or something like that, sort of at a later date. Anyway, set that aside. But how can you afford to pay so much to acquire a customer? Because you guys obviously know the math on the back end. Like, how would you answer that question?
Yep. So here's what I would say is we are focused on this metric here, as you can tell. I don't care if my online store only grows 50% to 2.6 million or 2.4 million. I want my subscribers to grow at 87% rate at 3 million.
Yeah.
So I need to stack subscribers. So what I'm willing to pay for a subscriber is 7 times higher than what I'm willing to pay for an online store user, a regular user. And that's because if we look at the metrics here, as long as my conversion rate is staying high, but I'm scaling at my ad spend at 44% and it's working well, as long as everything is looking good at the top line, then I look inside the back end of, oops, I just had to change users. Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
I forgot my one login has access to lifetime only, my other one doesn't, or recharge. So then I say, okay, what is my cost per acquired first time customer on average this last week? It was 400. Yeah, definitely high for sure.
Yeah,
it was high. Now I still made $25,000 after everything was said and done this week. So not a bad week. I spent making 25 grand, but because we spent 99, made 187, and that's the reason why I can afford to spend so much. Is
that's
because
before COGS and everything else, I have to assume. I mean, or is that factored into? Yeah, I mean, so you're making, relatively speaking, but you're really trying to get the subscribers because that's going to bump up the value of the company.
Exactly.
When you decide it's time to go find a private equity group or whoever it is, a strategic buyer.
Yep. And so what we look at here is we say, okay, what can we afford? and we have 8.41 active subscribers, average orders, and they're up 40%. So not only are we growing our subscribers, we're growing what the subscribers are spending.
Right.
So we have an average subscriber order of 102, and then that we multiply by 8.41. So we have $857 that we're going to make off of every one of our subscribers. And the question is, what do you want to pay for them to buy them? So if you know that every one you buy is $857, I will pay up to $856 for them. And can I give you $1 trillion, please? So that's basically the thought process there.
Got it. You're still going negative, technically speaking, because there is a cost. Like I said, there's cost of goods sold, there's OpEx, there's all these other sort of factors that are into that. But you understand your back end really here more so than anything.
Yeah, and it is a temporary negative because today I woke up and there was $8,000 that just was waiting for me at the office, and I didn't have to do anything. So it's like, what do you want your ad spend to be? I'm like, exactly. I'm coming in the office, I open the door, and someone says, "Hey, here's like, well, it's anywhere between $8,000 and I think like yesterday when it was $9,300. The day before was $9,300. So if I said, hey, like the way that we think about this is, Ralph, you come in, here's $10,000, you get to keep five net. You get $5,000 today. What do you want to do with it? I'm like, buy me all the new subscribers I can with this $5,000. I don't care if I ever see it again. And I don't care what you pay for them. Just
push it right back into the business.
Exactly. Because it's like, if I'm buying them for under $800, take it all. That's all we're doing.
Right. Because you understand the value of that. And that's the thing I think that's a little bit behind all this is like some of these numbers don't really look right to a lot of people, but that's to the I wouldn't say uneducated. I would say the ones that might not know like what the goal is. And I think
it tells me that they don't have a goal yet. That's all it says.
They probably don't have a goal. Hey, I want to make, a 50% net on my first purchase. Well, that's hard to do in a lot of cases, especially in online marketing. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine who has we might do, this is another one I want to talk to you about at some point in time. But anyway, sort of a joint venture, sells a product, and he's like, oh yeah, we're great. Like we're at a 50% gross. And I'm like, you're at a 50% gross, like meaning your cost of goods sold is 50% of your sale price? Yeah. I was like, you're going to have very little.
Yeah, what's your net?
On your marketing budget, like what's your net? Your net is like, and I asked him, what's his net? He didn't know what his net was.
Yeah.
So
like, now you got right there, I'm like, to buy.
Exactly. So you need to know these numbers, and you need to know what your end goal is. And subscribers, I have to assume the recharge. I don't want to ask this. Maybe I shouldn't ask this. Is it forced continuity once they purchase, or is it optional? It is forced. No,
it's forced. Yeah. Okay. What's funny is forced has like to marketers who are like, not going to get me. Forced. I'm too smart for that.
Yeah.
Right. It is. If you reverse engineer it in your brain, it's actually harder to talk yourself out of a subscription than it is to talk yourself into a subscription when it's already defaulted. And it's very strange psychology. When it's not defaulted, you have to say, okay, is it worth $7 in savings to have to remember to cancel something when I don't like it? No, I'm going to forget. Now to the other person, it says, okay, well, I'm buying this anyway. I already committed to owning it. I'm going to get a $7 discount if I'm going to buy it now. And I already think I'm going to like it. Otherwise I wouldn't be buying it. So if I do like it, then I won't have to worry about a subscription. That's worth it to save $7. So it's like, hey, I'm going to give you $7, but you're already buying it anyway. So you know you're going to like it. And, I give you a discount, and you can always cancel if you don't like it. You're never stopped from canceling. It's an easy one-click button. So it's like, okay, it's harder to be like, I'm going to pay $7 more because I think I'm going to forget. You basically have to say, I'm too stupid to remember, so I'll pay more. Like you have to overcome that in your brain subconsciously.
However, you've done an incredibly great job. At one point in time, I would love to go through this funnel a little bit more. Maybe not because it's obviously it's working for you guys. And not everybody wants to, give all the secrets. The point is this is the real key to money making. It's a lot of all of this. Like we're talking about like new customer acquisition on the front end, but it's like the real money is made in the math on the back end. And you guys are obviously doing an exceptional job convincing people that once they actually do get to the add to cart, once they do, initiate checkout, they're ready to buy. So if you give them an irresistible offer on continuity, they're going to say yes. And I would imagine your take rate from a percentage basis is very high.
33%.
33% for continuity. Isn't
that nuts?
Outstanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes 31, but I think our average is 31, but we've hit 33, like, and stay there for a little while. Like,
Yeah.
it was almost been our average. We would love that to be our average.